I got this request from Rathbone69. Oh, piss off and go back to Britain. I haven't seen a Fiery Joker episode in a long arse time. It's kind of nice to be back, to be honest. It's not a Mach 2 John Scorcher like the guy. It's just... There's so much YouTube. I can't keep up with everyone, even my subscription feed. Today, it's nice to be back with him. I'm in safe territory, man. He's never gonna stop using that fucking Vegeta final explosion.
Remember when I finished my Company Fails miniseries? I said that I'd be tackling any major fails that happened over the course of this year.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Boy, did 2020 deliver!
Number 10. It's a great song, though.
As the current year has been difficult for game development to progress, it's inevitable that some companies
I remember all
will
the
have to
Stadia
cut
freaking
corners
ads.
while still
Stadia!
finding ways to please the fans, something Nintendo is struggling with. Ever since Reggie stepped down from the office, Nintendo's starting to take a lot more shady directions with their business practices. The first sign of all of this is with Mario 3D All-Stars.
I remember this.
Love letter to their nostalgic fans.
For a limited time only.
Getting a package of 3 beloved 3D platformers from the Mario legacy seems like a wonderful way to celebrate the franchise's anniversary.
It does.
Sure, they're a little overpriced for re-releases that don't really have any mechanical...
well, you're getting 3 games, so I'm more okay with
play
it.
these games the way they are, as long as they work. Looking at you, Konami! Well, there's still a problem, and it's really bad. Hey!
Back in the vault.
You are free to eat.
Am I?
Are you?
That's right! If you want this collection, you better get it fast, because Nintendo's pulling them back in a few months'
I didn't
time.
get it.
Yeah, you know, these 3 games that are over a decade old and probably duplicated and pirated everywhere. They finally answered fan demands by offering legal releases again,
Reminds me of that
but
one-
only for a short while. How is this a good business practice?
Reminds me of that one ad
All
video I
3
saw,
of these
just
games,
like,
so
Nintendo,
what's
I want to
wrong
buy this
with
game
producing
legally. We're
copies
not
of them
accepting any
regularly
times
as long
this
as they turn a
at
profit?
this. Look, I'm
This is
trying
what
to
they
not.
ignore the last time they did
I'm
this.
trying to
The
not
anniversary
steal
edition
from
of
you.
Zelda
Dude,
Four Swords
I'm trying
got
not
the
pirate,
same
so
treatment
just
9
give
years
me the
back,
thing
and
and I'll
they
do
did
it.
again
We currently have
with
no
the
plans to do
original
it.
Fire
Gah!
Emblem just a month ago. I get that limited
Also,
releases
don't pirate our
boost
games.
sales demands for a period of time, but in the long term, all it does
Yeah,
is paint
fine.
a sour
Okay,
image on
I got it
Nintendo's
with.
marketing.
I understood with
Oh,
Mario.
that's the
Why the
wild
fuck did you do
part.
it
As the
with Fire
holiday
Emblem?
seasons
No
were
one
coming close,
cares.
Nintendo's behavior grew more and more erratic. You know how amazing it is when people respect the culture of gaming by coming together to play the games and sharing their experiences about the many aspects they enjoy? Something tells me that Nintendo forgot about all that when they unleash a mass lawsuit towards the big house for sponsoring Melee tournaments.
Genius.
Why? Because they were using mods. Yep, this again.
Bunch of weird, dorky stuff that ruined my perfectly good stuff.
Combating this act of monarchy, fans began hosting the Squid House, featuring a Splatoon 2 tournament offering prizes beyond what Nintendo could in their usual events.
They shut that
You know
down.
you gooped pretty bad when fans had to be extra charitable just to call you out. It seems like instead of learning to better themselves, Nintendo's taking a bunch of backward steps because their lawyer said it makes them the big bucks. I know you think what you're doing here is the right thing, Nintendo, but is it really worth harming your public reputation? Just because you want to be like Disney doesn't mean you have to be Disney.
And on the topic of repeating mistakes,
It's a good life
this
event.
enterprise is run by a villain or something.
Dear Lord. Yeah.
Did you guys hear a leak?
When something gets leaked, depending on what it is, it's cool for the consumer for a little bit. Getting even the tiniest
I don't
look
like
into what a
leaks.
developer is working on is tantalizing. And if it's cool, it
I
can be
agree
really
that it is
exciting.
tantalizing, though.
But let's be honest, it isn't so great for the developer.
No,
it can ruin
it isn't.
sales strategies, lower stock, and if the leak is a bad thing, it could lead to negative press.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, we got a big leak with Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, the game had already gone gold, but it kept getting delayed before Cyberpunk made getting delayed into a meme.
Yeah.
Game's already been delayed twice, they said. It's a big open world.
We got fresh cutscenes and gameplay, but it's
Hey, I understood
spoiled
reference.
huge story points of the game, and the backlash from it wasn't the best, even from die-hard fans of the first game. At least it got a lot of awards. Seriously,
Yeah,
this is
right.
so
Seriously?
robbed. Just a
Well,
month
no,
or so
they
ago,
did win the
Capcom
final
had a
award, to be
huge
fair.
leak showing off many of its future projects, including new Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Street Fighter games. Not only revealing that they're coming out with these new games, but release windows and the systems they're coming out on. While this is cool news for consumers and hype as heck, Capcom is seriously going to be reeling from this one for a bit.
Yeah.
And of course, we got the big leak of the year. One so big it got its own Wikipedia page. Nintendo's leak. One that has released decades of behind-the-scenes data and info regarding the development of many of its games. It is insane how much data was released, but there was a lot of questioning regarding the
Downright
source
dangerous.
of the information. Was it true? Was it legal? Well, definitely wasn't legal.
No.
After all, Nintendo's one of the most secretive companies out there. The last thing they want is any of their info to be leaked in any way. But
Yes.
it's insane that it happened.
Agreed.
Leaks aren't anything new for the industry.
No.
But the amount of info we got from just the last two showed off everything from Nintendo's past to Capcom's future. Both things I know they would want to keep private. And we've had plenty of other leaks from
shit.
Bandai Namco, Atlas, Sega, and others. But the fact that it happens so often is in itself a fail.
Well, at least we did get any leaks from Steam.
Honey, I found the dripping! There's a leaking valve.
I understood the reference.
Irony, thou art a heartless bitch.
Yeah, there's no way around this. I can't talk about 2020 without talking
Speaking
about
about
the
leaks.
elephant in the room. The human malware, Winnie the Flu, Pinko-Pox, whatever you want to call
Winnie
it.
the
doesn't get
Flu?
demonetized.
I never heard that
Everyone's
one.
health at risk, only certain businesses were deemed essential to keep open, such as grocery stores, pharmacies, hospitals, GameStop.
No,
and-
depends on the grocery
Wait, what?
store.
One of these things is not like
Oh,
the other.
don't worry.
GameStop. GameStop is
So
an
is
essential
Walmart,
business.
wrestling.
Apparently, in early March, GameStop tried to justify keeping their stores open.
It's almost
despite
like they
lockdown
picked and
orders.
chose
Their best
what
argument is that they
essential
want to
business
help
was
those
based on
staying
what
and
would
or
make the
working at
most
home,
profit
because
for the
apparently
1%.
These don't exist. How convenient.
That way they
considering
could
that so
shut
many
down
people under
mom-and-pop
lockdown will be playing video
competition.
games more than ever, and that GameStop's been at a steady decline over the last few. See that? It's so paper thin, I can't even finish the joke. Okay. Maybe I'm being too cynical, and maybe they really were just trying to be helpful. But you can't deny how sketchy it looks. GameStop's basically
lot
been
of
on
parts of
life support
COVID
for a
was
while.
kinda
Even
sketchy.
the Reginator couldn't save them. Then suddenly the Comic-Con comes around.
Comic-Con.
People ordered to stay home, and only essential businesses would remain open. Not too long after, in comes sneaky old Mr. GameStop to take advantage of the situation, therefore inadvertently putting their own customers' health at risk as well as their own staff members.
Okay, guys, real talk here. I love video games, but they are not worth jeopardizing your health over. Go digital right now. It's a lot safer in these times.
Fair enough.
As you can imagine, this didn't sit well with anyone. So,
Everyone
GameStop
disliked this.
caved and closed their stores, with only a select few offering curbside pickup and home delivery. Okay, that's a decent compromise.
Yeah.
A lot of food joints do that, and it's perfectly safe. You know, maybe we won't
Until
see
it isn't.
GameStop goofing up twice in 1 year.
About that.
Why can't I be proven right for once? So, in early November, GameStop held a TikTok dance contest for their employees. One of the prizes? Getting to work extra hours during Black Friday week. Yes, they were essentially making their poor, underpaid workers dance for their right to afford to eat during what is basically Hell Week for all retail workers in the middle of the Karen Cough breakout. It's safe to say
It's
that
like
the
the
present
alternate
outbreaks
names.
brought out the worst in a lot of people. And now GameStop is one of them. So desperate to try and redeem their reputation that they'd stoop to taking advantage of the situation and their own workers. At this point, it feels like they're just begging us to pull the plug on them and put them out of their misery. And I can't help but think it might be for the best.
Yeah, it is kind of
Hey,
sus. They won't
did you
argue
know that Amazon has a game studio?
Does?
Neither did I.
And by
What's in
Amazon,
your everyday?
I mean the place that gets drones to deliver your socks.
Oh.
Yes, that
What?
Amazon. They have a game studio.
Well, no, I knew
A few
I knew
of
what
them.
Amazon
Over the
was,
last
but I
couple
didn't know
years,
it had
they
a
spent
game studio.
A crap ton of money trying to be the next big thing in gaming by buying talent and technology to create their own money-printing video games. But instead of creating games based off of creativity or originality,
Based
their
on
philosophy
diversity?
is we throw money at it and we get more money back. Amazon, how are you that rich and yet you suck at capitalism that hard? I can go into
Because
a
if we're for
lot of
communism,
detail about the entirety of Amazon's gaming initiative.
you
as it's a
pay for
super
our
large
stuff.
fail on its own, but since they haven't completely given up on being a game developer, and I don't want this one entry being as long as my top characters list, we'll talk about their most recent fail, Crucible. Crucible
I
is
think I heard
Amazon's
about this
answer
once
to
or twice.
multiplayer shooters in the same line as TF2 or Overwatch, but with
Or
some battle
Fortnite.
royale elements similar to PUBG. And like
Yeah.
a lot of Amazon's games, Crucible went through development hell. Despite it being playable as early as 2018, according to some reports, because Amazon wanted it to be a billion-dollar franchise, they continued development until they had to release the game in beta in early 2020. The problem with that is that once Crucible came out, the Battle Royale scene practically died out, with only Fortnite and Call of Duty still dominating. Combine that with the game releasing while it's practically half finished, and with most of the features like Twitch integrations not being made, this is like the Heroes of the Storm of Battle Royale. Then, in a decision that really shocked people, Amazon unreleased the game less than a month later. Okay, well, that's not entirely true. They put it back into closed beta. But that wasn't the end. In October, Amazon canceled Crucible completely.
What?
It wasn't that surprising.
They withdraw it for
They've been
nothing?
gasping for air since it was first announced, but it seems Amazon decided to pull the plug and focus all their efforts on other projects. Their other projects being the
Good
MMO
choice, I
New
guess.
World, slated for release next year, after being delayed twice. And Pac-Man Live! Woo! Okay, well, ignoring Pac-Man Live for a bit, I can go over a lot of Amazon's tremulous journey through the game development scape over the last 10 years, but considering Crucible was Amazon's first ever gaming release, and it was botched this hard, I think we could get by with this.
Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, I know you all were waiting for this one.
Back when I did Nintendo fails, I made a bit of a comment when I realized that Blizzard royally screwed up Warcraft 3 Reforged and how annoyed I was that they did it right after I released the fails for them. So yeah, you can thank Warcraft 3 Reforged for this list existing. That's a good thing, right?
I guess.
So what was so bad about Warcraft 3 Reforged? How about a combination of lying and downgrading a game that was fine and continued to be played by hundreds of people to this day? Let me elaborate. In 2018,
Well,
when the
that
game was
wasn't their
announced,
fault.
it had a lot of potential. Upscaled environments and animations, updated models, and an upgraded user interface and world editor. But if you follow interviews in the years that follow, things didn't seem well, and the original plan altered heavily from what was shown in 2018. And when we actually got the game, well, I'll be charitable and say it could have been better. Probably couldn't
Never
have been
played
worse,
Warcraft.
though. Newer models and textures that were promised were there, but nothing was done more than the occasional mild texture change or newer character model. While the game has been upscaled to 4K, the rest of the game looked like it did back in 2002. It didn't help that there were frame rate issues too. Then we get to the worst parts. For one, a lot of the features that were in the original game were taken out by the end.
I hate when developers do that.
Wired and offline play and ranked play were all missing. Their excuse was some of these features weren't that popular and won't be coming back. Okay, Blizzard, stop taking cues from YouTube!
Yeah, right?
Really hurts it.
Seriously!
The original game was being updated.
Never
to
take
the
advice
new
from
version.
YouTube.
So
Okay,
it
rarely
screws
take
over all the
advice from
players who
YouTube. Sometimes they
lived by
have
the
good
classic
things.
game and would prevent them from
By
having
accident,
some of these
time limited.
features ever again.
Hi,
Honestly,
YouTube.
Blizzard
I
has done
like
a
staying on
lot
my
of
channel.
crappy
Please don't
things recently,
terminate.
And this doesn't even compare to some of the higher entries on Blizzard fails. But by continuing to keep doing things like this, Blizzard loses our respect more and more. Eventually, all their fans are just gonna give them the cold shoulder.
Honey, I thought we were done with the ice puns after ice bosses!
She had one more left in the tank she wanted to use, and this was her only
Whether
opening.
you love the MCU like me, or are desperately praying for the end of it, also
Like me.
it's impossible to ignore how massive it's become.
Yes.
It's repeatedly
Let it die.
broken records, brought several once obscure actors and
Remember,
characters
white
into the
people aren't
mainstream,
allowed
as
to go to the new
every kind
Wakanda
of
movie,
merchandise
otherwise
you
it's
can
white
imagine has led to
supremacy.
other studios
And then when the
trying
movie
to share
bombs
universes
in an opening
with mixed
weekend,
results.
It's white
The
supremacy.
Marvel Cinematic Universe being such a successful franchise, you'd think a game based on it would practically print money, right? I
Wow.
mean, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games are looked back on with fond memories.
Yeah.
Should be easy, right?
No.
Well, given that we're talking about fails, you could probably guess the answer for yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
First teased nearly 4 years ago, Marvel's Avengers would be missing in action until Square Enix's E3 of 2019, where it was finally revealed in full. So, how did Avengers screw up? Let us count the ways. No local co-op in a game where you play as one of the most iconic superhero teams of all time, making Spider-Man one of the most beloved Marvel characters exclusive to the PS4 and 5 version,
I have the
and
PS4
then
version.
not having him playable at launch. Having said launch feel like a glorified public beta with all the bugs when there already was a public beta. Having weak, repetitive gameplay that largely consists of just doing the same mission types repeatedly. And last but not least, a live service model that locks out all the stuff people would actually want to get behind a paywall. There's
Yeah.
really no excuse for Avengers to be
I enjoyed
in
it while I
this
played
state
it,
in
and
this day and age.
I haven't
Good
really got back
superhero
to it
games
since.
are very much a thing nowadays. The Batman Arkham series, Injustice, and Spider-Man have repeatedly proven it. The difference with those is that they knew just having a recognizable name attached to it wasn't enough, and that they needed good gameplay to back it up. As a result of all this
for
issues,
DC.
Avengers player base has been steadily dwindling, and it's cost Square Enix tens of millions due to the lack of sales. So, one question remains. Can Avengers turn it around and pull a Round Reborn or a Taken King? Well, to be brutally honest, I don't see that happening. Now, don't
But
get
it's
me wrong,
not
I am a
impossible.
diehard MCU fanboy. Civil War is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I've cosplayed Captain America. With that
He
said,
is a
one
soldier
thing
in the
people don't
military, so
really
he's allowed to pull
acknowledge
that
is
card.
stuff like a Round Reborn can only happen
Stolen
because
Valor?
of
No.
good leadership. Now,
It's not so. If I dress as Captain America, it'd be
Final
Stolen
Fantasy 14
Valor.
a whole bunch of times wasn't the answer, and that the game was flawed on a fundamental level.
There's no saving it. We need to pull it out by the roots.
So, unless
God,
one
I
of the
might
key
just make
staff members
Armstrong
on
the
Avengers gets
thumbnail.
replaced, or someone in the higher
Just
ups
for the
gets a
meme.
Buddha level epiphany, I don't see a comeback happening. In the end, we can only hope that the game serves as yet another example to publishers that the live service gravy train ain't all it's cracked up to be.
Nope.
Unfortunately, that just isn't the world we live in.
No. It
And
is.
funny.
Ooh, another Blizzard entry. Get the crock pots ready, because this is about to be a roast!
Yep.
Even after everything you put the world through, people still held hope for you, Blizzard.
For some
Well,
reason.
At least those who weren't working for you, anyway. What goes
All
on
I played
in the
from
building,
Blizzard
on
is
the other hand,
Hearthstone.
colder
It's pretty
than any
fun.
storm they can blow. Following the massive job cut in 2018, there has recently been news articulating a revolt by staff members over at Blizzard Entertainment.
Why?
Since 2019, they had it rough working under
Okay, yeah,
abysmal
fair.
pay for months, despite Blizzard's standard profits and budgeting. They even passed a spreadsheet showing the average pay of every staff position. While producers and engineers get to make over $100K a year, the standard employee at Blizzard hardly accumulated $60K a year.
Just get a real
It is so
job.
underwhelming that staff members had to split earnings just to compensate for each other's lack of benefits.
But hey, gas was $2
Some of them
a
even had
gallon.
to skip meals and cancel household plans just to conserve money. Meanwhile, the CEO casually banks himself $40 million worth of profit, and the
Yep.
chief financial officer gets to keep a sign-in bonus of up to $15 million.
Don't you love golden
So
parachutes?
while
I swear
swimming
they're
in all those bills, the
deserved
people who had
and
to shatter their
earned.
backs all day made not even 1% of what they got.
I thought you said it was a fortune. It is a fortune.
At this rate, the fired staff might as well be the lucky ones. Even after
Yeah, they don't
their
get slapped across the
Blizzard
face.
still couldn't offer fair treatment to employees that stuck around, despite having all the resources to do so. So instead of spending those millions on improving staff management and quality of life, they funked off to Disneyland.
At least they'll have enough dough to see the doctor later.
Let's all be brutally honest with ourselves for a moment. Gaming ain't cheap.
No.
Whether you're a kid desperately trying to convince your parents to get you that sweet new game console, or you're an adult with expenses to cover, it's an expensive hobby.
Yes, it is.
Especially true if you're the kind of person who wants to build a top-of-the-line gaming PC.
I
With this in
don't.
mind, it's not hard to see why Google Stadia was conceived.
I'd like
you're
a
not the
I'd
first
like
person
a
to have
computer
this
not be
idea.
a piece of
huge
crud, but
library of games
I'm
available
happy
on your TV
for
or
a
smart
cheap
device
one that
for a small
works.
monthly fee. What could possibly go wrong?
Who wouldn't want better?
All of it.
Let's get one thing
Yeah,
out of the
all of
way
it.
first. Yes, Stadia was released at the tail end of 2019. But that being said, it's had many fails throughout this
To
year.
be fair,
The way
I
see
said
it,
earlier that it
has.
was going to shut
Anyways,
down, and
Stadia
that was
somehow
confirmed.
managed to
But they
accomplish
are
the
giving
task
everyone a
of
full
shooting itself in
refund
the
on
foot
all of the
and
games
then
they
proceeding
bought.
to bury itself. It would honestly be easier to
So you know
list
what?
the
They
things
went
that
out
went
on this and
right.
was like, huh,
There ain't a
okay.
lot. With
Good
a lack
call.
of exclusives, input delay on an online-only console, leaks, giving away pro subscriptions because it was doing so badly, the list
I think
never
that you
ends.
might still have to
Stadia
pay.
had one
I
of
think
the
they might
worst
still keep the
launches
money
I
for the
have ever
DLC, but I
seen
don't
of a
know about that
console.
one
And as
honestly.
terrible
I
as
only heard
stuff
about
like
like
the
once and then
3DO
we
and
moved
Gizmondo
on.
were, at least they actually worked.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not so bleak. After all, there have been consoles that have recovered from lackluster launches. Just look
PS3.
at the PS3.
It managed to
Xbox
steal the
360,
fucking
and Xbox One.
fourth
Of course, the only
generation
reason they were
consoles.
dead
I
on
think
arrival
we're
is
on the
that
fourth
Sony
at that
and
point.
Microsoft
No,
had
honestly.
established consumer bases, and Google isn't quite known for
You get the idea,
So
though.
with Stadia, I think it's only a matter of time before it goes
Google,
the way of
the
Google's
most
other
Google was known for
innovations.
gaming was when Pac-Man was on the Google logo.
Google Glass, what happened?
We killed it.
Google Car.
Oh, no. This is gonna be amazing.
Warning. The following entry deals with some very heartbreaking and disgusting revelations.
I'm listening.
Don't want to see, skip ahead to this time.
I can't skip.
Remember back in 2019 when I said that Ubisoft was more incompetent than evil? I never felt that they were actively evil, unlike some other companies. Well, turns out 1 year later, once again, I'm eating my own words. Because we got word about some terrible, horrible allegations that have been going on for years.
What, sexual
assault? You know how in
assault?
recent years, a lot of employees,
Yep.
especially in the gaming business, are finally coming clean about abuses they faced in their occupations? Unfortunately,
Some of it may
Ubisoft
be
has
vague,
been found
but not
guilty
all of it.
of
I'm not
playing
gonna say that.
host to such abuses.
Me Too
Even
movement
enabling
in
them.
full effect.
Several executives and VPs have faced accusations
That
of
said,
sexual harassment. And
sexual harassment is a
misconduct.
terrible
They tell their
thing if
female
the
employees
story
that
is
they should
true.
Smile
Yeah.
more, make lewd comments about their bodies, and all that other gross
Why,
stuff
you
you
look
should have
nice?
grown out of after puberty. Apparently, they've even had meetings at strip clubs of all places. Worst of all, they've gone so far as to use their power to intimidate and even assault their coworkers.
That's not
sometimes
okay.
by choking.
No, that's
And
not
what
okay.
does Ubisoft do about this?
Oh, I see nothing. I was not here. I did not even get up this morning.
Nothing.
Some days I wish I
They
didn't
did
get up in the
nothing.
morning.
Actually, they did worse than nothing. They willfully looked the other way and did whatever they could to cover up the allegations and fail. They're more interested in protecting their inner circle and pushing their products instead of taking responsibility for their literally gross negligence. Now, there is a time and place to separate a product from their creators, but not when you're deliberately trying to draw attention from an issue. The real kicker, this has been going on for a decade. Thankfully, this was the year that
don't
people
bring
were
him
finally
into
made
this.
aware of the misconduct, and several of the abusers have departed the company. May they never find work again. Hopefully,
What if they were
Ubisoft can start
wrongfully
taking the baby
accused?
steps to clean up their act, but it's going to take a while to wipe the stain off their reputation. And if by next year,
But if they
hear
weren't,
this behavior
if they weren't, and
continue,
they legitimately were
they'll
monsters,
never hear
I
the
hope
end
they
of it.
rot in hell. I don't want to come across as someone who's defending a sexual predator.
Oh, electronic arts. When it
The
comes
creme de
to
la creme
disappointing,
of crap.
never disappoint. It's no surprise that EA would find a way to mess up this year of all years.
If there's a year where EA isn't in the top 3, something is terribly wrong with the
So,
world.
what could they have done this time? Let's see. They wrongfully smeared someone for rightfully calling out one of their workers, snuck in unnecessary ads, copy-pasted FIFA 19 for the Switch. Oh,
To be fair,
and the
it's
PA
FIFA. They do that every year.
resistance.
I'm gonna sue! Yes, I'm gonna sue!
Yep, EA faced not one, not two, but 3 class action lawsuits.
Loot
All
boxes.
3 revolve around the same theme: loot boxes.
Yep,
Because
they're
it would take a lot
illegal
of
in
real
Britain.
money for a chance to get a good virtual item, loot boxes have been under strict gambling regulations in some countries. Of course, that's never stopped EA before.
I wish it was in
You know as
America
much as I do
too.
How much they thrive for a chance to grab that extra cash.
If it's
by
free
any means
using
necessary.
in-game items
You know,
for
aside
loot
from making a
boxes,
good
I
game.
don't mind as much. If you're using
Unfortunately for them,
actual
this
money on
came
it,
back to
no.
bite them thrice. The first was in August, where California.
And there's only like where
drew
you
up a
buy
guide for
the in-game
ultimate
stuff that can
packs in
get
FIFA
the
series, calling them
loot stuff that you can
predatory
already get
dependent
online
on the
in-game.
gamer's addictive behavior. Now, for all the foreigners that don't know, gambling laws are a bit looser in the States, so there's not much one can do compared to, say, living in Canada. Oh, wait. Yep.
There's one state where it's illegal to have a fucking casino on the land, but they have it in the ocean instead, like on a boat.
But it's the internet.
Because it's not on the land, it's in the sea.
Also want to briefly mention one situation with the Netherlands. They didn't sue EA, even though they'd have every right to, but they did fine the company for 10 million euros over the FIFA loot
Damn,
boxes.
we should do that. Fuck's lawsuits.
Because heaven forbid EA ever admit they messed up.
Yeah.
Not even a month later in November, lawsuit number 3.
Oh, 3.
This time back in the States
Miscounted.
again. The suit claims that EA has been using their dynamic difficulty adjustment tech, which basically gives them free reign to change the difficulty of a game on the fly, to trick players into buying more loot boxes in hopes of getting further ahead.
Oh,
so they're pulling an Activision now?
Yeah.
Yet, despite all this trouble that loot boxes cause for them, you know EA isn't gonna give them up anytime soon. Basically the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Isn't that what
They'll
practicing
say they had
is?
no intention of causing all this gambling drama, but with their history, how are we ever supposed to believe them? Even
They're
in
not.
2020, when things are unpredictable and uncertain, EA couldn't even try an attempt to put their money mongering on hold.
Nope.
And now they paid the price for it. So wait,
Or we
is this
paid the
gonna make
price
these
for it.
litigation issues a fail or a karmic justice? Yeah, tomato, tomato.
I'm a
Yeah.
fiery joker. And if there's going to be more big-time fails in 2021, which
There
in
are.
the industry right now is a pretty safe bet,
Hmm.
we're going to be doing this again next year. Same time, same place.
Same
Until then,
channel.
Have a safe and happy new year.
Kaboom.
And to 2020, I only have one word for you.
Kaboom! Ah, I missed this one. Gives me nostalgia.
Hey everyone, this is Josh. If you like this video, please like, subscribe,
Please support
leave a
my
comment,
Patreon,
and
the
share
usual
video
stuff.
around.
Skip.
Please check-
It was a fun thing to check out. I'm glad I got this safe. I forgot some of the stuff that happened in 2020 with other freaking countries.